Shalom Benjamin, Saurabh Roy, two amazing band members of the exceptional The Light Years Explode. Welcome to On VJ's playlist. Such a joy it is to be hosting both of you this afternoon. How are you doing?
Thank you so much.
We're
Thank you for
doing
having
very
us.
good. Thank you for having us. We
Well,
have
we
a
are
habit of,
here. Yeah, sorry, you say something.
I said we have a habit of completing our sentences sometimes. It gets a little annoying.
But I can relate to that because even when I leave my sentences or my questions like halfway through, I feel like, oh God, I've just mumbled out, and then it's never a great feeling after that. So sometimes I feel like I kind of overtalk to kind of compensate for. Sometimes we all have the inability, occasionally have the inability to express sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess where I understand where you're coming from. But thank you so much, guys, for taking the time out to talk to me for on VJ's playlist. I have been listening to your music over the years. And of course, we have gathered here today to discuss about your latest single, Pills. But before that, I was reading up about you, and it kind of makes me wonder how age-defying has this band really been, because you all have been making music now clearly for over 15 years. I think you all came together as a band back in 2009. And
Yeah.
although your debut album hit, in 2015, but it's been a momentous journey of sorts, since then, where, back then when you all had started out, it was a very, very niche concept. Like, the band culture in general had kind of just become the cool thing, where the popular opinion was, okay, a mainstream movie has come out, a mainstream movie about rock music has come out, and now suddenly it's like you see, unknown bands, or emerging bands kind of popping up and mushrooming in different corners of the country. And then suddenly there's a whole wave of independent music artists that kind of hit the scene. So it's the last 15 years alone, I'm sure from your perspective, has been a period of a lot of evolution. So how do you
Yeah.
look at the time from when y'all started back in 2009, and now that you see yourself releasing music even in 2023? So how do you just look at the journey so far?
It's been, I was thinking about it in the morning, like, because we obviously, like, we're releasing albums, and I was thinking the last time we released an album, there were so many different things we had to think about. For example, we were printing CDs, so we needed to get everything ready a month before, so that your booklet and all that, and you have to go to Thane to meet the printer and all that stuff. And now you just upload it. You just upload it on OK Listen.
Yeah,
So
But now we also have like other things. Like now you have like we didn't really care about Instagram when we were putting out Kali Charan, and now it's just like okay, we need to
right.
start posting. And like yeah, okay, let's figure out like what are you gonna post. Like it's like a different things that you consider before releasing anything right now and what you used to do earlier. Both of them have their own set of challenges, I'm sure, but it's definitely very different from what it used to be and what it is right now.
yeah.
Because back in the day in 2015, when you all debuted with the Revenge of Kali Charan, at that time Instagram was simply about just, okay, I have a great picture, I may have to browse through 10 different filters before finally uploading an amazing, the one that actually goes with the picture. There's a theme you want to come about with it, and you have to just write a small little caption, half a dozen hashtags, and done. That's all our Instagram game was. But now it's literally like artists live and thrive on Instagram. So how do you look at this huge dependency now that artists have on social media, to kind of stay relevant in the game?
In a way, it's good, because like it's just another way to like reach new people. It's for us it's been a little weird, because like we came from before that, so like it's like a new thing to learn. But I think it's really cool. People people are using it also, in like every few months you see something new and creative over there, like they're using it differently. then once the new creative thing comes, it gets saturated a bit, and then something else comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Evolution is like, you can't really control it. So I just I just decided to like go with the flow and like appreciate it for like how it goes.
Yeah, because even like now, there have been times when like you just like you even discover new artists on Instagram, and even you discover, oh, this gig is happening because like you're on Instagram. Earlier, there was a phase when it was like there used to be a Facebook event link that we used to
Yeah.
like just send everyone, and like before that, we also just used to like like this
Forums,
is forums, and before that,
Listings.
we just used to
Listings.
listings, yeah.
listings, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a phase, I'm saying like Blue Frog days, when we just used to go, like, because like we just used to maybe like meet on a Thursday and just decide next Thursday kya ho raha hai, and then just show up next Thursday. Like it just used to be, we just used to show up. But
Because you
it's
didn't know
good.
who was playing. Like sometimes you just didn't know who was playing or what was happening. It wasn't as,
Yes.
and it was like there was only one or two places to go. Now there's like a lot of places to go. You can go, and that also is really cool because like you have options. Who doesn't like options?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think
Also,
if we have to go by the title of one of your songs, we are clearly on Nostalgia 99 right now, all three of us.
yeah.
Safe to say, are we in our late 20s, early 30s now? We're suddenly feeling a bit too old while talking all of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's also we're old, definitely. We're in our early 30s, but we also like started the band when we were like 19, 20. So it's been that long. And also before we started the band, we wanted to be in a band for a few years before we started a band. For example, so we were a little lazy about it, but we met when we were like 16, like the first year of
FIJC.
yeah. So I went off to
Wow.
vacation.
Y'all have
Exactly.
stuck
So
together for that long.
yeah,
Yeah.
we met on the first day of college. But after that, I was on vacation, and Channel V Launchpad was happening.
Yeah.
And I saw the Super Fuzz. And that before I saw the Super Fuzz, I always wanted to make a band like that. And I thought we'd be one of the first. And I've never heard a band in India like that. And then I saw them, and it was like, they're already doing it. I need to call Shalom and we need to hurry up. Like that was like an iconic like moment in my life. Like, oh my God, they're already doing it.
I mean, what was, since you say that, you have known each other now from the first day of, junior college. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I want to immediately get back to asking both of you, if you vaguely remember the first time you guys met, and how did you all, discover that there was a very, very mutual dream towards making music, and, music was like the common dream that you guys shared.
I mean, I guess
So,
we just met on the first day of the call. I mean, we sat next to each other, and that's how we started like
but
talking
even
about.
more than the music, it was like nobody wanted to sit with me.
And
Oh,
and same here. And same
I was
here.
I was absolutely alone. He was sitting with two other guys, and one guy walked in, told him to go away.
So
And
what happened is I kept my bag like on the last bench, and then I was just like walking around. And so there used to be this guy in our class in college. We used to call him the king of the world because he acted like he's the king of the world. And then he just showed up and he was like, dude, like, just go away. I'm sitting here. And I was like, it's the first day of college. You don't want to get into an
so you
argument.
met
So
the
I just took
resident
my
bully
bag.
on the first day of junior college.
Yeah. And then I also met Saurabh
Ouch.
because then I saw Saurabh was there, and I just sat next to him and we started talking.
yeah,
And
mostly about first we started talking about, oh, no one wants to sit with us. And then
yeah,
I was playing guitar and he had just started playing guitar. And I realized, well, there's no need for two guitars. So I just told him, why don't you learn bass?
So
I was like, I'll
you
look into that.
just made Shalom switch gears randomly.
Yeah.
I told him, you want to be in a band, there's less bass players than guitar players, just go for it.
So Shalom, how
I
do you look at that? That, I mean, all I mean, till then, till you met Saurabh, you were actually pursuing another musical instrument. And then Saurabh is like,
Not
why don't you? Okay, yeah, go
so
ahead.
not really. I had like it's not like I knew how to play the guitar properly. I had a guitar, and I feel also that's how a lot of people just. I had like an acoustic guitar at home. But then
Okay.
once we decided, like we were talking about music and bands and stuff like that, and I had a vague idea of what like a bass guitar is, but not like it wasn't never like oh this is a bass and that's what it does. And so I started like looking more into that thing, and I was like it's actually like a cool like it's pretty cool a
Um,
bass guitar. And then I sort of got into it. I learned how to play it, and there was always this thing, oh let's make a band, let's make a band, let's make a band.
but did you like
So
formally undertake learning in it? But or was it like what
there
did you
was
look up then? Because even YouTube wasn't very huge then
there
back,
was this
back.
there was this website called ultimate-guitar.com, I guess,
I
which
still use
was
it.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
which was
okay.
amazing.
I
It's
think I
such
should
an
list the link somewhere.
Yeah,
yeah. There's an app now. You can just get the app.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. What is it again? You said
Ultimate Guitar, Ultimate
ultimate
Dash
guitar.
Guitar.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And
they
then like
had tabs and stuff like that.
yeah,
But that's crazy. So if I have to ask, I mean, of course, thanks to Saurabh, Shalom has decided to finally pursue a new instrument and kind of hone
I'm
his
sure
skills around it.
there were other factors too. I just nudged him, like I just told him what it was, and
But
and also
that's a great,
I wanted
yeah.
a bass player. It was very selfish. I'm like, this guy is cool. I should.
That's cool. That's very honest of you to have said that.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if he played bass and then we just have to find a drummer?
yeah.
Imagine selfishness helping another person discover his purpose, and then I mean, what a beautiful drastic development does that kind of transform into. But do you remember the first time that you guys spoke? Of course, when as back then, like we rightly say now, like your vibe is your tribe. You know that you have vibed with a person when you are discussing something common, common interest. Of course, music being the common interest. But one of the things back then, I'm sure as 15, 16-year-olds that we really loved discussing about were the kind of artists that we were listening to. I'm sure back in the day, Linkin Park, Green Day, these were all the regular fixtures, in an average Indian teenager playlist. So who were some of the artists that y'all discover that y'all share in common, and like that's where you knew that okay, I have found my homie here.
So all these like Linkin Park and Green Day, a bunch of people like, but when Shalom and I both liked Operation Ivy,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that's when we knew, like, not a lot of people listen to Operation Ivy. I think, I mean, there are obviously, I had an Operation Ivy t-shirt that I painted by myself. It was really cool. But yeah, that was the band that really, like, and they have a great bass player also, right? Like that must, like, as someone who was learning for him and for me, it was just like the lyrics were really good of that band. We really, that was the band that was like, that was like our band that like not many people would also, we used to cover them also. It was,
Yeah.
they were very, very special to us.
Yeah, Shalom.
Yeah, same. I think that's one of the first bands that we spoke about. I mean, after Green Day, Linkin Park, which and then we were like Operation Ivy,
Gone.
Korn, Misfits, and like
Misfits.
I think Saurabh also had a Misfits t-shirt, if I'm not
I
wrong.
did. I people used to be scared of it. I remember, like, that's like,
Mitiba is
that,
not a good place for a Misfits t-shirt.
we were in Mitiba, not a good place for a Misfit t-shirt.
I don't know what students or anybody watching from Mitibai would now feel about this, but guys, peace out there, no offense. But Shalom and Saurabh, of course, 2009 was when you could say that that was the year when the Light Years Explode kind of came together, and the Revenge of Kali Charan, your debut album, hit music apps in 2015. I'm sure this phase of 6 years would have been immensely challenging back then, because like we have already discovered, we have already discussed that back then social media wasn't huge. forget Instagram, even like a lot of the chatter back then used to happen on Facebook. And I mean, even Twitter wasn't huge then than it is today. So in those 6 years, of course, much of it would have also been, with both of you focusing upon securing a sound education, and all your degrees then.
Yeah.
So that phase of 6 years, from the time you all came together as a band to finally launching your debut album in 2015, what are some of the big learnings, or what are some of the big challenges you guys underwent, and how, like, would you want to just take us back to that time when that phase of that phase that the Light Years Explode went through?
I think
Well,
one of the most important, I don't know if it's important, but like one of the most prominent things that played an important role were also like college gigs and college competitions. Because that's
that
like,
was the starting point.
yeah, because as soon as we started as a band, these battle of the bands kind of things that happen in
Yeah,
college fest. It's like, it's amazing how people show up at 8 in the morning because they're gonna get like 10 minutes to play on stage. But the whole deal is that there is no if you have a
10
band,
minutes
if you are,
only.
yeah, you get 2 songs.
2 songs. Sometimes you got 1 song, and then if you went through, you got 2 songs to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that, that Josh to like, I've written a song and I want to play this song live. And these college competitions used to be like a platform for a lot of
Yeah.
like indie bands to do that. And it was so cool because it was also like a lot of effort, but like it's like people are lining up at like 8 in the morning, bands are lining up at like 8, 9 in the morning. And it's
I
just
remember.
bizarre. It's like there is a experimental like band, and there is a fusion band, and then there is a rock band, and it's just like there's no,
It's crazy.
it's crazy, but it's so much fun that all these people like give a shit about this, and they are there to play that one song that they really want to play live, and it's just
That
really
is
nice.
true.
And that's I am assuming
It was
also
also,
something that helped us, because it's so nice when you play live with your band, even if it's just a couple of songs, and then you get sort of hooked onto it. Oh, this worked. Because I mean, if you've just started a band, it's really hard to get a gig. And if you
Yeah.
get a gig, you're gonna play like a 30-45 minutes at which you don't have right now. You only have like a song or 2 songs. These college competitions were perfect. You have 2 songs, you anyways have time only to play 2 songs.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get that experience of how it feels being on stage in front of people. And you
also if you
also
won,
are, yeah,
if
Yeah.
you won, you got money. You got money.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's always the sweetest thing, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
you're in college. You're still in college. That extra money is very useful.
And
But
especially
we
when you
would
want to buy
usually
great instruments for yourself, or you want to start
to
saving up so
record.
that, yeah, to record. Yeah.
When we started recording with Ayan, the hardest thing, I think, the college competitions were fun, and it was pretty simple. You'd go, you'd play, and it'd be, what was really hard was getting that first proper gig, which wasn't a college festival, because you don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
anybody.
Ah.
So you have to. So, do you remember what our first gig was?
I think it was a Zenzi gig, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. So Rishu Singh gave us our first gig, as he did many people back then. And I remember we gave back the money he gave us because we played really badly.
Oh. Oh.
It was
Really?
like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was 5 grand. He's like, where do I send it? I'm like, do not send it. It was not good. It was our first
Really?
gig, and we
But
didn't.
like, really, what? Like, did y'all mess it up, or was it just sound issues, or what happened in that first gig?
It was like a normal first gig. It was. You did not we did not we did not know what a sound check was, because college competitions don't have sound checks. You just go up and play. So during sound check, I think we just somehow managed to make us sound like, overthink it and make it really bad. You know what I mean? like just knobbing and tweaking and all this stuff that you didn't have time to do in a college festival. You suddenly have so many so much time to do it. And by the time we got there, we were nervous. There were people that we had actually, the guy from Scribe was there, people from NH Indecision were there, and I was just nervous. Like, it was not just other college kids.
So
It was bad.
has it happened that they've eventually come back to you and like, okay, fine, whatever happened back then is all forgotten and in the past now, but we see you and you guys doing amazing. Have those same people come back now and like, oh well, like it was ruined there?
No, so I don't think they thought we were as bad as we thought we were bad.
It was like an internal thing.
Oh
was
like
my
a-
God.
So
I
they were
really think you'll overthought this through, and I really think I'll put yourself through the ringer.
Yeah. No, so but the next, it took about a year for us to get good at that, like just playing live. And back then, it wasn't like you didn't have Blue Frog wasn't even there before we started playing. So all the venues didn't have the best equipment. So we were getting used to trying to get sound out of pretty crappy equipment, and that took it took a year. It took a year, I'd say.
But like you say, I mean, Saurabh, so much of information back then was not easily accessible or easily available. So how did you all, bring yourselves to kind of, educate and learn more about the technicalities that are required on the job? Or how did you all bring yourself to kind of acquaint yourself to, how to go professional about this, or to obtain some sort of a formal insight upon how going about making your music?
Before the album, it was mostly just about trying to find people that were quite good at what they were doing and trying to just ask them, like I was a big fan of Achint. I learned a lot from him even back then. He was in Rosemary. Then
It was that, and also going for gigs. And like I remember, we used to also go early. We used to go for sound checks. Like we used to go for gigs, but we had
and we
also
used to go for
gone
sound.
early. Yeah, we used to go for sound checks because like let's see. I mean, like what they do and what's the reason why this particular band sounds like that.
Yeah.
So we used to go for sound checks, then go chill, and then again go for the gig just to see the band.
We
And
also
that was
used
like
to
that's how you learn.
One thing we learned very quickly was not to go on time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh man.
We went for a gig at
really?
5 o'clock. Yeah, the first time we went for a Raz gig was at 5 o'clock. And the band was still sound checking. They said come back at like 8.
Like
It
how,
was
like
crazy.
clearly very, I mean, it kind of I know how you from what place are you guys coming from? Like so naive and so gullible back then, and
We were still teenagers. We were literally teenagers.
yeah,
I think we were nice, like so. Yeah, but the most we learned was during the album. That was the biggest learning process. We released the album in 2015 on Spotify and stuff, but physically we released it in like 2013.
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were recording it from around 2011, or at least writing it, which was also
Yeah.
like our last year at like proper college, I
Yeah.
think so, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
finishing last year of college and writing the album. We were practicing. So another thing is back then home studios wasn't that common. So the first album we didn't actually do it in like a computer. Obviously when we went to the studio there was Pro Tools, but our demos we had no idea what our music would sound like, because the only place we heard it was in a jam room.
Yeah.
We had very few demos. Like we didn't know what the drums would sound like. I had just gotten Logic, but it was like my first year with it. So that album we learned in a studio. We went to Jason produced it. He plays now in a band. He still produces and he plays for the Cognac Net. He produced the album with us, and so we recorded the drums at Yashraj, and then we recorded everything else at Jason's studio. That was
Yeah.
like a 3 month period, and so now if I would do it again, it would probably be done in 2 weeks. We made so many accidents during that time, you know. We had to do things over and over and over and over again, and then we had it ready, and then we spent a week mixing it at Yashraj with Shantanu, and just being Shantanu was like, I don't know how old he was. He was older than us. Just like spending like a week listening to him, seeing what he advice he was giving, like even like simple stuff that we wouldn't have thought about, like why don't you change the tempo of the song? Like, yeah, like obvious things that like as 21, 22-year-olds, we were just like not even in our headspace. Like why would we wouldn't have even thought about doing stuff. Just hanging around with these people, we learned a lot.
Well, between The Revenge of Kali Charan and your 2020 single Satire, again, a long gap of 5 years, and something that clearly, I mean, we are talking about before The Revenge of Kali Charan, that took a while, but even after that, till you released new music during the pandemic, it was 5 years of complete it was a huge amount of transition, because I mean in those 5 years, like suddenly the independent music scene has evolved, social media trends have changed, the discoverability is a lot more, streaming apps are kind of popped up, and they are picking up center stage in the country, and suddenly the discoverability is huge and large, and there's opportunities for everyone. Like it's somewhere you could say the level playing field is kind of it's the same. So what was that phase like for the band, and like what happened between The Revenge of Kali Charan and Satire?
Well, we did we started figuring out that we needed to get jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I went to music production school. Shalom was also learning music production, and so we got a couple of jobs here and there, and then we started going into the whole background music thing and learning how to do that. And while we were learning how to do that, because obviously you do that in like it's a very different environment, you do it in a computer with like all that stuff. What happened was we started incorporating all that stuff we were learning from all the other world, like the commercial world, not commercial
Yeah.
world, but like the techniques of
Space?
how you would do it. Yeah. So like and sort of trying to find how that would mix with our what we already do. We didn't want to do we didn't want to completely not be like not have the same spirit we used to have, but we wanted, like, we're different people and we make music differently, so we needed to mix those together, and that took a little longer than we thought. And also we lost our album at one point. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh man.
There were hard drives of all the Mellow EP, the hard drives before
Before the
so
release.
I had a computer. The computer stopped working. I gave the computer to Fix, and probably should have given it to someone else. But he's like, I can't fix the computer, but I can give you all your data back if you give me a hard drive. I should have probably bought him a new hard drive, but I gave him my existing hard drive. And then while he did that, he destroyed my hard drive, which had the album on it. So we had to start the whole Mellow EP over
I
after
can't imagine what a colossal. It must have taken a while for all of you to have recovered for just from this.
Yeah,
It
it
was
took a
not.
while.
It was not a good week.
Oh,
We did the whole thing over again. Satire was a completely different song. So obviously when we redid it, we changed it even further because it would
Correct.
be boring to just do the whole, just recreate the whole thing again. So it got even more, like, it got funkier, Satire especially.
Amazing.
And
But
like
yeah,
you
the
said,
whole
these things were also very helpful. Like this time in between was also very helpful because we also learned a lot, and especially Saurabh, that like now, like he said, that just doing things are just like it's a lot more convenient and easier, and it comes to us, especially to him. Like it's just like now, even if there's a new song, there's already a demo in place which gives we know how the song should. It's not like you're just heading to the studio and we'll record the song. It's like you have an idea of how this song should sound like in terms of production. So
Yeah.
that time was also important to learn those things, and so that we could use it for the future song.
Adam and Saurabh, let's talk about pills, which right now is my current favorite. And yes, I did post a shout out about it very recently on my personal account, on my personal Instagram.
for that.
But a little bit about the song, actually, for those who still haven't queued in, or who still are yet to check out the song. What was it that you all were trying to convey through pills, and why was this a song that you all that had to be made?
Well, during the pandemic, I was getting anxious, so I went to see a psychiatrist, and he gave me prescribed some pills, and I would forget to take them. So I wrote the song from the point of view of the pills to remind myself to take them regularly.
Ah,
That So that's the basics of the song, and it came together really quickly. It came very quickly. I think it's a simple song, but it was a lot of fun to write. It came together quickly, and that's what it is about. It was therapeutic for me to write.
that's interesting. Yeah, Chala?
No, that's about it. Yeah.
But that's amazing that, something so nice can actually stem from an extremely personal space. And while the rest of us who sit and vibe, with the song, and, who kind of enjoy listening to it occasionally, little would we know that it was actually a reminder to oneself to take the pills that have been prescribed to him by a shrink. But thank you, Saurabh, for sharing that with us, and I hope you're in a better space
Oh yeah,
mentally.
it was just some anxiety pills. They weren't like it was not a big deal, I don't think.
Yeah, but I can understand, actually, because that particular period when all of us were confined to the walls of our houses, and with little to no contact with the outer world, that was definitely a very, very it was a very, very I won't say, I mean, I can't really think of a very apt word for it, but yeah, it was a very overwhelming phase, to say the least, for all of us. And,
Yeah.
constant assurance was something that we all needed. So I'm really happy that, you chose to put out a personal experience like this through the course of your art. So thank you for that. Lastly, guys, from the time you started till now, so many amazing bands came to the scene. Some of them are still there, existing and thriving, equally as you guys are. Some of them have not been very fortunate, in that case. The pandemic, of course, has changed the dynamics and shifted so much for people in space, especially, and across. I mean, it's not just musicians. Across different stakeholders, there's been a seismic shift in the management, in events. It just the way the scene is overall propelled by creative professionals in the field. But if I have to strictly ask you, as artists, when you all sit down and you all listen to and whenever you all are unwinding, who are some of the artists that members of the Light Years Explode love listening to, and whose work has tremendously inspired you over the years as a band, and you feel like, wow, we're happy that they are here and we kind of share the vibe with them?
Well, right
I think
now
it
I'm listening to
also
the
keeps on changing from where it
yeah.
started, and like what, like I'm sure there was. I still remember the 5 year gap that you was. I mean, after Revenge and before Satire happened. I remember both of us started listening to like a lot of hip hop and like also like a lot of
Yeah.
electronic music. But yeah, go ahead, sir. You're saying something.
From the scene right now, I really like Dot and the F16s and Mali. You were meaning from the scene, right? Like who we are
Yeah,
listening.
yeah,
Yeah.
from scene. From our
So
independent Indian independent music scene. Yes.
Trance Effect.
They were really
We
good. We
saw
saw them live and
Trance
they were
Effect
informed
is
it.
amazing. Yes.
they're really good.
Yeah.
And from the other bands, obviously, it's like Zero. We love Zero. We love Scribe. Scribe was a huge like inspiration when it
Huge.
comes to
Love Scribe.
live acts. They were like they're my best, like most favorite band to watch live because they are just so like the music is insanely good, but they're just so good when they play live. They are one of the most entertaining bands I have seen in this country.
I also Short Round plays guitar with us. I really love his music.
Jishnu. Yeah. For those who
Jishnu.
don't know,
Yes.
Short Round is Jishnu Guha. Yes.
Yes. I usually call him Jishnu. I don't know why I went with Short Round. But
Well,
yeah,
I learned a very interesting fact about both of you is that both of you are now, while making music for the Light Years Explore, you also work with Achin Thakkar. For many of us, I think the immediate factor for which we would all recall Achin's very instantly is the guy behind the wonderful background score and music for Scam 1992, Rocket Boys, and Monica Oh My Darling. So how is it working with him? What are the energies you guys exchange? And I, like I said, at the start of the interview, that he's literally quite a mythical figure right now. So how is it like, kind of getting the opportunity to be in his presence and, getting a chance to pick on his brain?
I mean, he gave me my first cigarette. He's not a mythical figure to me. You know what I mean? I've known him since like he's one of my best friends. Like we've been playing. We've known Achin since way before we were working with him. We've known him. In fact, I think that's why we work with him because he's like a really he likes us, but also we like him, and it's a really strong bond. Like it's not just work. I do feel like that with us, all three of us.
Yeah, and it's also music at the same time. So I think everything just works out really well.
Yeah. Also, shout out to our friend Parth, who is
Yeah,
also
shout out to
in
Parth.
this circle.
Yes, yes.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much, Shalom and Saurabh, for talking to me. It's been a
Thank you so much.
huge honor because for the longest time that I can remember, like always, like if I have to like start listing my bands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I feel like the more I keep saying it to every artist I interview, it can I can stand the chance of sounding very repetitive and uh phony, if I may use the word, but I really do not. I mean, I'm sure you guys get the sentiment what I mean, but we have
Yes.
always followed each other. We have always kind of like at least Shalom and I, we have always exchanged pleasantries on social media, and it really makes me happy to see the kind of journey that you've had as a band. And I really wish you all the very best for the wonderful music coming our way in the near future. So thank you so much for talking.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having
Thank
us.
you.